Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in, man.
It is picked off by the line. Darius Slay's got it. Coming back right side 25. Picks up a block at the 30. Darius at the 40.
Drink it in, drink it in. Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in, man.
Rolls to the right. Stafford throws deep. Got a man out there. End zone. Caught. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Marvin Jones.
Stafford! Drink it in, drink it in.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Cornbread.
Stafford! Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in, man.
Detroit Koolaid, what is going on, everybody? Back here on the Fantasy Football Flavor Show. Want to do some different things today. Want to hit you with some top performers, people that absolutely balled out, showed up on week 4, and then want to get you guys looking at bye weeks. You know, like this week 4 was kind of the first week where bye weeks came into play. You had to make sure that some of your big studs. I know the Jets were on a bye week. And, you know, I took Lev Bell and some other players out for certain fantasy teams. So I want to talk a little bit about now heading into week 5, what teams are on buys, how to manage that type of stuff. And then I want to hit you guys with matchups, week 5 matchups, what games look interesting to me, what players you might want to watch out for, all that type of stuff. So let's hit it right off the top. Let's go ahead and hit it with that 2-minute drill. I'll get you guys the top performers. So just looking at it in week 4, I mean, on Thursday night, you know, not our favorite player when it comes to the Detroit Koolaid Cast, but Aaron Rodgers came out and threw for 422 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's big time when it comes to fantasy football. This guy, I don't know if you've heard of him, Baker Mayfield, threw for 342 yards and a touchdown, but he was helped by a guy named Nick Chubb in his backfield who went for 165 yards and 3 TDs with an 88-yard touchdown. Oh, baby. That's something special right there.
Oh, baby.
You had our own Lion, Kerryon Johnson, 125 yards, but he didn't get in the end zone. He put the ball on the turf there at the 1. That really made a big difference when it came to the end of the football game. When you look at receivers here, you got Devontae Adams also on Thursday. Went off for 10 catches, $180. You got Jarvis Landry, who finally showed up for Cleveland there. 167 on 8. Odell had like 2 catches for 20 in a fight. I mean, come on now. And then big Leonard Fournette, one of my other favorite players in the NFL, went for 225 yards on some ridiculous amount of carries. I mean, he was grinding away yards left and right there in the second half of the Jaguars. They came out with a big dub. So we'll talk all about the Lions on Wednesday and Friday. Just an absolute heartbreaker, but proud of how they played. Pat Mahomes, looking at his stat line right here, just 315 yards, no touchdowns. I mean, wow, who saw that coming? So crazy week as it always is in the NFL. You never know what's going to happen. Sunday night game is going on right now while I'm recording, and then a big Monday nighter against the Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So can't wait to watch that. It's going to be a good one. So here's my 2-minute drill. Got it in right under the wire once again. Let's go ahead and take a quick break with our sponsors. We'll be back talking about bye weeks, talking about matchups, talking about all things fantasy football. We'll be right back after the break.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Baker's, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Baker's worth it every time. Baker's, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
All right, everybody, we're back here on the Fantasy Football Flavor Show. It's your boy, Oakry. You can hit me up on Twitter at Derek Oakry, DEREK, OKRIE. Had a lot of fun this past Sunday. I was able to live tweet the Lions game for USA Today Lions Wire, so got to interact with a lot of people. Got to give my instant reaction as that game was going down, so that was fun. And like I said, if you ever want to hit me up with your fantasy football questions, you can just tweet those out to me. I'll definitely try to get back to you as best I can with who I'd play, what my thoughts are on a player, all that type of stuff. So definitely hit me up on Twitter. Let's go ahead and look at bye weeks. So, like I said, this past week the Jets were on a bye, so I know I had Lev in a couple leagues. Had to sit him down. I think that's going to cost me one league, which, again, I had a great week this week in fantasy. I think I only lost one, maybe two leagues out of all the different leagues I'm in. And like I say, it's hard to win them all, but man, those losses, I can't even think about all the great wins I got this week because this was one or two losses are just killing me. But like I say, Lev cost me in one. It's just hard to not have him in the lineup in some of these deeper leagues that I'm in. But let's go ahead and look at week 5. So week 5 on the schedule, we've got our Detroit Lions on a bye week, and we got the Miami Dolphins. So, the Miami Dolphins seem like they're on a bye week every week. Hey-oh. But, they just, as a football team, I'm just absolutely
struggling.
But, our Detroit Lions, like I said, real proud of them. 2-1-1 heading into the bye week. Getting healthy. Sorry to see if anybody has T.J. Hockenson, you're going to have to keep an eye on him. He'd definitely be in the concussion protocol, but got some injuries and things to clean up there. But so the Lions are on a bye. So if you got Kerryon Johnson, Kenny Golladay just playing like a man. Like a beast. This guy, if he's not showing up as being an absolute number one, maybe a future top 10, top 8 type receiver. He's probably already there at this point, but it's just like how much better can this guy get? Catches everything in the area, goes and catches it, red zone nightmare, like I said. Physical specimen, love what the guy's doing. So if you got Kenny, if you got Kerryon, you got to sit those guys down. Matt Stafford's been really good this year in fantasy football. He's been able to put up good numbers, hasn't turned the football over a ton. He has put the ball on the carpet a little bit, I don't know why when he starts scrambling or when the pocket collapses, he doesn't realize that the most important thing is the football to hold on to it. So doubt many of you are starting Matt Stafford, but he'll be out as well, along with Marvin Jones. Like I said, Hockenson, even if they were playing this week, would probably be out. So it's kind of a good thing they got a bye week. You'll head to hope that he can play in that Monday nighter in Green Bay in week 6. And then when you got the Dolphins on a bye week, you're looking at, who you got with the Dolphins? Like Kenyon Drake hasn't been that good this year, but you might have him kind of in your flex or in kind of your backup spot. And Devontae Parker is a guy that's always underperformed. I know he had a touchdown this week, so, you won't be able to put him in. Not that I would suggest it. Josh Rosen, if you're in deeper leagues or some of those 2 quarterback leagues, he might be an option that you're having to play. He's got in there. I still would like to see him play, so I hope they just sort of let him ride, let him out there, let him do his thing. But, he's not incredible at this point in his career with the type of weapons they have around him. And like I said, if the Dolphins get the number 1 pick and draft a quarterback, Josh Rosen could be out of the league or be, somebody's clipboard holder before you know it. Other Dolphins guys, Gesicki might be a tight end option. You have to account for him. And that's about it, when it comes to kind of those offensive skill spots. So not a huge week when it comes to buys. The bye comes early here, week 4, week 5 for teams. But for the Lions, I think it kind of comes at a good time. They played a tough football game. They'll be able to kind of regroup, hopefully get Hockenson back for that Monday nighter, like I said. Hopefully get Sean Hand and some of their defensive guys. Not sure where Mike Daniels will be at. Get those guys back. And Amendola, he's been a big ball player this year. Just a gritty little receiver in the slot there. Need him back as well. So, again, this week's not as big. But the reason I want to bring up the topic on bye weeks is because you can get ahead of them. And here's a couple ways to get ahead of bye weeks. One, look ahead in your schedule and kind of see not only where you're loaded up. You might have a week where you got lots of bye weeks. You can plan ahead and get a player off waivers or make a trade maybe to sort of fill up that roster spot. But also, a very tricky way to do it is, let's say you're about to have a guy on a week, 6-7 bye. it'd be, if it's all relative and you can trade that player, maybe it's a player that's really hot right now, trade him. That way the other team has to eat that bye week, and then maybe you get a player on the Jets, or you get a player that was already on a week 4 or 5 bye, so you're not even having to deal with that bye week. That's a pretty slick move, and sometimes it just happens naturally. Like you'll be looking at trades, and you're kind of like, okay, I really need a running back, and you'll go look at these running backs, and you'll say, man, I can get this running back, and his bye just expired, and I can give them a player who's like really blowing up, but they might not realize that 1 week from now he's gonna be sitting out, and then I won't have to deal with that. So definitely keep your eye on that, as well as don't be that guy that gets caught napping where you think your record's good, you think you're all set, yet you didn't notice that in week 7, 8, 9, some of those really crucial years of the NFL season, you got tons of guys on bye weeks. That's going to cost you a loss. So make sure you check up on that. Very important. Another thing I have here is start looking at the standings. I mean, you might say, oh, it's only week 4, week 5, Oakrey, but fantasy football only goes to week 11, 12, 13, whatever it is, before you kind of get to some of those playoff weeks. So you're more than a quarter of the way through, even 45% through. I check those standings. I want to know who's bunched up. You might have 4 teams that are all at 3-1 or 2-2. If you're in that bunch, you want to make sure you stay there. If you're at the bottom, and you're looking ahead at your schedule and your standings, saying like, how am I gonna, I got any good matchups coming up where I can get some W's? Do I got any catching any teams on bye weeks? I remember a few weeks ago I went through and just sort of looked like, am I catching any teams on byes where they're like they're stud players? The Zeke Elliott's, the DeAndre Hopkins, Odell, those kind of guys are out when I play them, and there definitely was a couple of those weeks in some of my leagues. So, that's definitely an advantage. It's kind of a crapshoot, random thing that happens, but definitely something to keep an eye on. So take a look at that. I mean, like I said, fantasy owners, I've been telling people that this guy was going to come around. He played well this week. I mean, you know his name.
Carry on my wayward son.
I had friends, Lions fans, people said, carry on, man. What, is this guy going to do it or what? I was like, man, he's going to go for like 120 and a touch or two. And he definitely had those yards, had some receiving yards as well. Just, gosh, that run on the 1 yard line, why he stuck the football out there, I'll never know. But like I said, hang on to Kerryon Johnson. He's on a bye week. Just ride it out. This guy's going to be a solid football player for the year. They're going to continue to go to him. He's got everything you want from the running back position. So know that. And like I say, when you're looking at your standings, like if you're at the top now, I mean, now's the time to sort of figure out how you're going to stay there. Do you need to make any trades? Do you want to dump a guy that you've been hanging on to get somebody that's hot right now? Do you want to no, hey, I'm at the top of the standings, so, yeah, maybe this player isn't just rolling up numbers right now, but I can really use him in week 10, 11, 12. Maybe by then he's playing the way he should if he's a top football player. So, the standings are important. Knowing how to work that roster is important. The hardest thing for me week to week, I mean, gosh, I'm not very good at it, is putting in that lineup. I mean, just thinking off the top of my head, I mean, this week I had Jarvis Landry on my bench. A couple of my leagues, I ended up sitting down Kenny Galladay. I ended up playing a couple of the Chiefs players, thinking that even if it was a tight football game like it was, like you were definitely going to get a player or two from Sammy and from Mecole Hardman. That didn't happen. Excuse me. I had, gosh, who else did I have? Leonard Fournette in one league. I sat him down for Kerryon, which, Kerryon still played well, but Leonard 225. That's big time fantasy football. So, that was interesting as well. So standings, bye weeks, really important. Let's go ahead and look at this schedule. Let's run down this schedule for week 5. So week 5, you got the Jaguars at the Panthers. I mean, Gardner Minshew's been really good. Leonard Fournette, not only did he run well and blew up numbers-wise, but they also won the game. I feel like Leonard Fournette's a guy where if he's playing well and his team is winning is when he's going to be better and better. When they're losing and when he's just not having success on the ground is when he struggles. So I like Fournette again against the Panthers. The Panthers, I mean, like I say, Kyle Allen, they've got some unique skill players, but I'm not a huge fan of their team. This is at Carolina, so again, it's going to be should be a decent weather game, but it's going to be, it's going to be kind of a toss-up there. I mean, I would definitely have Leonard Fournette in your lineup. McCaffrey's always going to be in your lineup. And then some of those sneaky receivers for the Panthers. DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel. Those are guys you have to kind of consider depending on your league. Like, I don't play them in shallow leagues, but in deeper leagues, I mean, those are sneaky good 2-3 receivers with upside. So, keep your eye on them as well. We've got the New England Patriots at the Redskins. I mean, that should be an absolute blowout, I would think. I mean, the Patriots had what I think was a tight game there in Buffalo. I'm sure they'll kind of go down and just whoop up on the Redskins. I mean, I heard Dwayne Haskins got in this week, didn't do so well. I'm wondering if he'll play, but even if he does, I mean, Double B and company are going to have something schemed up for him. I could see this being a huge game for Tom Brady, Josh Gordon, guys like that, maybe even Sony Michel in the run game. Let's go ahead and look at the Bills at the Titans. I mean, Titans figured something out. I mean, I basically had given up on Corey Davis. I saw that he found the end zone. I did pick up A.J. Brown in a few of my deeper leagues. A few people had kind of got tired of him or just let him go. Was able to pick him up. Didn't play him, of course, but he went for, good chunky yardage, 2 touchdowns. I mean, the guy's super talented. Seems like he'll probably be the number one, and they probably will have to look for a new quarterback in Tennessee because Marcus Mariota just doesn't seem to have it as far as a top-level NFL football player. The Bills, I don't know about the Bills. I mean, 3-0, played the Patriots tough or whatever, but I don't love any of their skill players. I mean, who they have? Josh Allen, a bunch of receivers that I just couldn't even tell you who they were. No real run game. Old man Frank Gore, TJ Yeldon, who's no good. I don't know really how they win football games. It must be their defense and just the plays that Josh Allen makes with his legs and his arm. I'm not sure if Josh Allen got injured. Let me see if I can pull up some injuries here while we're talking too, because I know there were definitely some guys that went down here in week 4 of the NFL season. Let's keep this moving though with matchups while I kind of look at that, see if I can read you guys some injuries as well this week. But let's keep going down this list. So the Ravens are going to be at the Steelers. I mean, that's always a dogfight. Ravens got absolutely whooped. I mean, the Cleveland Browns, I mean, Baker Mayfield put up like over 40-some points on the Ravens in the Ravens' house, and they just ran the football. They just killed him in the run game, and Baker was decent in the pass game. I mean, that's crazy. So all this hype that Lamar's getting, I mean, he's good. He ended up finding Andrews again, so Mark Andrews continues to prove me wrong and score touchdowns. You've got the Steelers, who I'm still pretty decent with the Steelers. I think Mason Rudolph's a good professional type NFL quarterback. He's got the size, got the ability, and I have James Washington in my lineup for Sunday against Cincinnati because I think you're going to see some deep balls to James Washington, Rudolph, the college connection, hooking back up. And I could see that, when the Ravens come to town as well. So that should be a nasty football game, but a fun one to watch. The Cardinals at Bengals. Gosh, this is going to be a nasty game of 2 pretty bad teams with bad records. Kyler Murray is Kyler Murray. I see him making some running plays. He scored a rushing touchdown, but he's just not really putting it together. Larry Fitzgerald continues to make plays, but not enough. And I think Christian Kirk went down with an injury, so you have to keep your eye on that. The Bengals, they continue to try to get Mixon involved. He had a good week the prior week. We'll see what he does tomorrow evening on Monday Night Football against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But until A.J. Green gets back, I mean, that offense is just kind of incomplete, and their offensive line is a mess. So I could see that being an ugly game. It's at Cincy, so maybe Cincy finds a way to beat up on the Cardinals there a little bit. Let's get you some injuries here real quick. Mitch Trubisky went down for the Bears. Josh Allen did go down with a head injury. I thought I didn't see him in the game when I was catching red zone. Let's see some other offensive skill players here. Lions, T.J. Hawkinson injured. That's definitely a concussion type issue. Jarvis Landry concussion. Man, concussion, and he had all those yards. So either that happened late in the football game or wow. Jakeem Grant for the Miami Dolphins, who will be on a bye, had a hamstring. He's one of those players, one of those fast players that always going to have a hammy or something going on with him. And everything else I basically see is defensive players. Looks like Paris Campbell came down with an abdominal injury. Marlon Mack with an ankle. So not sure how serious most of these are because, like I say, I was locked into the Lions game today and recording here on Sunday evening. So I'll definitely catch you guys up with those injuries on my Fantasy Football Weekly article on USA Today Lions Wire. You can check that out every Thursday morning on USA Today Lions Wire, covering all things Detroit Lions. And I always get that fantasy article in there for Thursday morning. Get you a recap of what happened as well as look into that next week in some more detail. So definitely check that out. All right, let's keep working out way down the schedule. So we got the Falcons at Texans. The Falcons have been an absolute mess. I mean, Matt Ryan has all these skilled players. He's got incredible indoor games and good weather games all year long. And he's just been, he's been turning the football over. He's been, not converting touchdowns. I see all these yards from him still, just empty yards. The Falcons have not been playing good. And you got the Houston Texans, who, my guy Deshaun Watson. I mean, I love watching this guy play, but again, not only is he getting beat up, but he, I don't know, that team's just a mystery to me. They got players as well, and that's kind of like the game of teams that are both loaded with offensive skilled players, running backs, quarterbacks, and they just have not been able to put it together this year. I mean, either team has just been hit or miss. So that one's at Houston. I mean, I almost feel weird saying the Falcons will go lose another one, but I mean, maybe Deshaun Watson at home just gets it done in that situation. I'd expect an explosive kind of high-scoring game there. Buccaneers at Saints. Buccaneers, dropped a 50 burger on the Rams? I mean, who saw that coming? That's the NFL for you, right? Absolutely crazy. Buccaneers at Saints. Again, no Drew Brees. So, I don't know. I mean, Buccaneers, not sure what you got there, but Jameis Winston blows up, and then he also loves to throw the football to the other team. So, I saw some things from Ronald Jones. I mean, I'm not sure if he's going to turn into kind of a mid-level running back like we hope, or if he's still a spot player for them. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are real tough to deal with on the outside. And then for the Saints, obviously, you got Kamara to deal with. And big, can't guard Mike on the outside. But other than that, so that could be a shootout as well. Buccaneers at Saints, circle that on your fantasy calendar for next week. We got the Vikings at the Giants. I mean, the Vikings got absolutely embarrassed by the Chicago Bears, so I'd expect the Vikings go in and just absolutely whoop the New York Giants. Get Diggs going. Diggs been having a tough year. Probably get Dalvin Cook going. He had a little bit of a down week from what I saw. And the Giants, I mean, I couldn't believe all the hype for Daniel Jones. The guy came out and had one decent ball game, and people just going crazy. I mean, our franchise guy, this guy's incredible. I mean, the thing I'll give him is, like, sometimes when you watch a draft prospect and he gets taken in a spot and he plays great in preseason, he plays great in any time he's been put out there, and he plays great when he's actually, given a real opportunity. Hey, there might be a chance the guy's good because he continues to kind of perform. And Daniel Jones has done that. I'm not going to discount him in that area. But again, I don't go the Grifka route where I got to wait multiple years or just wait until someone's good to say, hey, they're good. Yeah, no kidding. But I also don't go, hey, Daniel Jones had one good game. He's the savior of the New York Giants and they're setting out quarterback for the next 10 years. Like, you got to see some more from the kid, no doubt about it. So Vikings will be big in that game. Home road, they're going to probably kill him, but I hope not because any losses for the NFC North, I'm always rooting for that as a Lions fan. Let's go ahead a few more here. We got the Bears at Raiders. Bears have, like I said, put a whooping on the Vikings. They got a pretty explosive offense, seem to be getting healthy kind of across the board. They probably won't have their quarterback from what I saw today. So, Chase Daniel's not a bad backup, but not explosive. That's at Oakland. Come on, Oakland. I'd love to see Derek Carr find a way to get that done, but, Oakland's Oakland. Like, I haven't seen much from them, and, Tyrell Williams, the only guy I see scoring touchdowns every week. So other than that, I mean, unless Josh Jacobs figures out what he's doing and gets going, I could see the Bears winning that game. But gosh, would I love to see the Raiders win it. We got the Jets at Eagles. Eagles just had a big win at Lambeau. The Jets will, I don't know if they'll have Sam Darnold back. If they have Sam Darnold back, maybe that's a decent football game. If not, it's probably a whitewash by the Eagles. Most likely a win by the Eagles at Philly. I mean, who goes into Philly and wins? Oh yeah, the Detroit Lions do. Woo! That was still a great dub ski. But let's go ahead. We got Broncos at Chargers. Superchargers, gosh, they probably get that one. I bet you they unleash Melvin Gordon and he just plays great football and they throw it around to Keenan Allen and all these other skill players they have. I mean, Broncos are in rough shape, just from a roster perspective, and everybody always says their defense is incredible, but you got to still put points up and be consistent on the offense side of the ball. We got the Packers at the Cowboys. That should be a classic 4:25 kickoff. It's at Dallas. I'm really hoping that Dak Prescott and Zeke can put a pounding on the Packers. That'd be great. Love to see another loss on their record column before the Lions come there and before me and Griffka are live in Lambeau Field all day long. That'd just be incredible. We got the Colts at the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football, 8:20. I think this is an absolute beatdown by the Chiefs. I mean, I think the Chiefs will probably score 30 to 40 points in that game, as well as be able to just do anything they want, run past whatever it may be. Colts, decent overall roster, but I'm not a Brissett fan. They don't have Ty. It's going to be rough. It looks like I did skip the Thursday game. Rams at Seahawks. That should be a good one too. I always like when that Thursday's a good ball game. I would think Rams. At Seattle. At Seattle's a tough place to play. Rams just got a lot of points dropped on them. It's hard to bet against my guy Russell Wilson, as well as just the way the Seattle Seahawks play football. So that should be close. I could see the Rams having a chance because of their offense. But like I say, Chris Carson got it together this past week. So, don't mess around with Seattle in Seattle. Lions figured out that in the playoffs a couple years ago. We've got the Browns, the Cleveland Browns, Baker Mayfield, Odell Beckham, Nick Chubb at San Francisco. San Francisco undefeated, thinks they're just on, cloud nine or whatever. They were just on a bye week as well. So they're undefeated. I don't know. Like I say, my Browns, the Browns I've been touting, it's Baker Mayfield, the guy I've been saying is going to blow up, have been really hit or miss this year. But, that just seems like an Odell Beckham game out on the West Coast, that he just catches like 120 and 2 TDs, just because he's been pretty much down a lot this year. So give me Cleveland in that game. And like I say, I like Garoppolo as a player, but I don't love some of their other skill players. Some injuries, too, I think, on the 49ers side that'll hold them back. So give me the Browns, as well as play Baker, play Odell, play Chubb, Ricky Seals-Jones, sneaky pickup, kind of a athletic type tight end that's come in and done some things with Njoku out. So that's a good week. I mean, some good matchups there, some high scoring games. I could see some nasty low scoring football games. Like I say, week 5 is crucial in fantasy football to get those W's and to sort of work your roster however you have to get that win. So Lions and Dolphins will be on a bye. All of the teams will be up and rolling. And like I say, when the Lions are in a bye, you can usually kick back, put on your NFL Red Zone, have 2-3 TVs working, and enjoy a good week of football. So everybody, check those bye weeks, check those standings. Laugh it up if you had some of the big top performers this week. And look ahead to those matchups in week 5. Make sure you get those lineups in and make sure you put up those W's in fantasy football. Drink that fantasy Kool-Aid and hit me up on Twitter at Derek Okrie, DEREK, OKRIE for all things Lions and fantasy football. For now, I'm going to get up out of here. We'll catch you guys Wednesday for the Detroit Koolaid Cast, as well as our Friday show. And we're going to try to actually get you shows maybe dropping Wednesday morning. So I know me and Griffka are going to try to record on a little different schedule this week. So if all goes well, look for that Lions podcast recapping that Chiefs game, kind of talking about what's ahead on the bye week. And maybe we'll give you our layout for our road trip to Green Bay for the Monday Night Football game there in week 6. So it should be a great Kool-Aid cast. Check us out. And like I say, be on the lookout for that dropping Wednesday morning. This week and probably weeks moving forward, as well as trying to get this fantasy football flavor show to you a little bit earlier as well. So thanks again, everybody. Take care. I'm out.
Pack the bags, start the plane. This game is over. It is over. What a comeback by the Lions. Drink it in, man.